Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to share with you all about elements in Ragnarok X Next Generation and why they are your secret weapon. The first thing you need to know is the elemental skills of your chosen character. To find this, click on the Academy Handbook and then click Tips. On the right side page, you'll see a card for each character type with their specs. Let's just go through each one quickly. First, we have the Swordsman. They have fire and neutral elemental capabilities. Next is the Mage. They have ghost, fire, water, and wind elemental capabilities. Next is the Priest. They have holy elemental capabilities. Then we have the Archer. They have holy, fire, water, and earth elemental capabilities. For the Assassin, they have poison and neutral elemental capabilities. And for the Merchant, they just have neutral elemental capabilities. When you're grinding, elemental damage can be done through skills, but some is done through elemental items such as arrows or other consumables. To learn more about these kinds of items, let's go see a good place to buy them. In Prontera, go to Sandre's store. Click Battle Supplies, and here you can buy items for your character in order to deal different types of elemental damage. There are items such as different types of arrows, like fire or silver and earth. Okay, they're connected to the different elements. There's also things like elemental converters. These can be used on any type of weapon to give them any kind of elemental effect or damage capability. While we're talking about elemental items, I do want to give you a quick tip. Make sure you're using the right item for the job. For example, if you're fighting an MVP, elemental arrows would be way more helpful than something like an elemental converter. The converter will last for a set amount of time and may continue its effect after the MVP is defeated. This would then be a waste of that consumable since you're not able to use its helpful effects fully. Alright, so kind of a rabbit trail, but wanted to give that little helpful hint there. The next important thing to know when it comes to elements is how they work with the monsters you are hunting or fighting. Each monster has an element that is assigned to it, or simply a part of its essence. Monsters then use their elements as defense against our attacks. A great place to find out more specific information is the Academy Handbook. To find this info, first click on the handbook, then click Monsters. Now you can check through the list to see what element is presented in a given monster. Here are a few examples. The Poison Spore monster. Kind of obvious, but it's connected to the poison element. Caramel, or caramel as some would say, is connected to the earth element. The Pirate is connected to the undead element. And Mark is connected to the water element. Now these are just examples. There are tons of different types of monsters and they're all connected to different things. So just use this as a resource for when you're not sure what element is connected to what monster. Now that we know about our character's skills and how elements work with monsters, let's learn how to use this info to our advantage. So, first, you need to know your character and know what you can use. For example, Krayzup is a hunter, so he can use different arrows. Next, you need to know what you're up against and defeat them with style and wit. Use the elements against the monsters that will give you the largest impact, which can go as high as double damage. Really cool. A great resource for you is going to be found in the handbook again. Let me show you where to find it, and then we will discuss what this graphic really means in a few moments. First, click Academy Handbook, then click Tips, and then Elemental Counters. As you're looking at the graph, here are some important ideas just to keep in mind. The numbers you see here are percentages. So for example, 25 is 25%, 100 is 100%, and 200 is 200% or double damage. This graph is showing you the damage effect that will happen with all the different combinations of attack and defense elements. Here are some specific examples which deal heavy elemental damage when paired against the other. Water against fire will give you 150. Fire against earth will also give you 150. Earth against wind, same, 150. Holy against undead, 150. And the big one, wind against water, 175. Wowza. When you're thinking through this on your own, here's kind of a helpful hint, okay? This is how I think about it. Think like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Have you seen this show? Okay. If so, what was hardest for Aang? Earth, because it was the opposite of air. I want you to use that same thinking of opposite elements when you battle your monsters, and your grinding will be even more efficient and helpful. And make sure you're using this graphic as a tool to help you know what elements will be best to use against a specific monster, especially for your MVP battles, so you can get the highest percentage of damage. Another helpful piece to this elemental conversation is cards. Cards can be used for a variety of reasons, and some even have elemental properties. Specifically for our use in this video, some cards can be used to increase elemental damage or defense. You can add these cards to your weapons or armor to help you kill those monsters and MVPs. Okay, at this point, you may be wanting proof. So let us show you a quick example of how this will improve your grinding skills. In this first battle we're going to show you, Krezop will be using neutral weapons and skills to defeat this monster. Pay close attention. Now, in this battle, Krezop will be using elemental items in order to deal greater damage and grind more efficiently. Again, pay close attention. Wow, what a difference. Did you see that? This idea of using elemental attacks for greater damage is also connected to our previous video on the leveling hack, where we discussed hunting the monsters that will give you the greatest job experience for your level bracket. If you use these two ideas together, fighting monsters who give high job experience and then using elemental attacks, you'll be able to kill monsters more quickly. Your grinding will become more efficient, then allowing you to level up even faster. Okay, just want to give you a couple quick cautions before we wrap up. There are some matches that really don't work well. Okay, so poison against the undead and dark against the undead, these give you a negative 25 damage. So basically, you're doing nothing. But just don't really do it. It's not going to be helpful. It'll be a waste of your time. Okay? Lastly, remember that fighting the same elements against each other doesn't work super well and will result in really low damage. Okay, I hope that this video was helpful for you and that you'll be able to level up like a champ. Happy grinding!